Buenos días, good morning. My name is Patricia Mota and welcome to Cafecito con HACE. I hope you are doing well and staying positive and focused on what you can control. I am the president and CEO for HACE, the Hispanic Alliance for Career Enhancement, a national nonprofit organization whose mission is to positively impact the workplace by cultivating the pipeline of Latino talent and providing Latinx the insight, access, and development to be successful in their careers. Quick update, if you haven't signed up already, we do have a recruitment event specifically today, this afternoon, focused on careers in government. And so some of the organizations include the CIA, the City of Chicago, the CTA, and also the state of Illinois. Some great opportunities and great leaders that will be joining us for that conversation this afternoon. And don't forget to reach out to HACE. I know many of our partners and companies out there are getting ready to plan for Hispanic Heritage Month. So don't forget to reach out to HACE and we can support you with any activities, events, and programming that you are getting ready to do. And so today, I'm excited for today's topic. It's in line, obviously, with all the work that we get to do at HACE, but specifically, we're focusing on coaching. And so my special guest today is Armando Sepulveda, who's the Executive Coach in Leadership Development at Hudson Institute of Coaching. Good morning, Armando. How are you today?
Good morning. Great. I'm doing well. Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
We're so excited to have you, Armando, and welcome formally in front of those tuning in today to the HACE Familia. We're going to talk a little bit more about your connection to us in the great coaching program that we are launching at HACE and your participation in your leadership with that specifically. But first, how do you prefer your cafecito or your morning beverage of choice, Armando?
White coffee con crema, non-fat.
Salud.
Salud.
Very straight to the point. So that's we have cafe, others, we've had some folks that say, Dr. Pepper was another one. There's different choices. Tea is another popular one. Armando, so can you tell us a little bit more about your background, your cultural, your professional background? And those of you tuning in, please have your questions and comments ready. I think coaching is such a critical tool for all of us, no matter where we are in our careers. And so I'm excited to learn more about Armando, your background, and specifically the importance of coaching.
Okay, so let me start with my background. My heritage dates back to Mexico. My mother was born in Cananea, Sonora, and my father, although he was born in Globe, Arizona, his roots are in northern Sinaloa, southern Sonora, Chihuahua, Durango, Zacatecas. So that is my background. I grew up speaking Spanish at home. My mother spoke very little English. My mother was an orphan, but she taught me some great life lessons, and which is always dress your best, work hard, and help others that are less fortunate. And that has stuck with me throughout my life. So So how do I identify? I am Mexican, tried and true. Anyway, my career started at the Xerox Corporation. I was there 24 and a half years in a variety of leadership and senior leadership positions. And I'll just interject one thing. Xerox was one of the most diverse companies that I've ever observed. And they had people of color throughout the organization up to the CEO level. And they were way ahead of their time. So anyway, my most significant job there or position was Vice President General Manager of Southern California, which was about a $300 million business. It was a great company to work for. I have lifelong friends, and I met my wife through Xerox people. So I also spent 14 years at HACE North America, which is headquartered in the Netherlands and Munich, Germany. So I was able to travel, spend a lot of time in Europe. I was a senior director of sales for the Western region production printing. And I spent my career coaching, mentoring sales people and sales leaders. When I left the corporate world, I met with a former colleague at Xerox who had been coaching for 5 years. And she introduced me to the Hudson Institute of Coaching out of Santa Barbara, California. Now, I was certified there, and I've been coaching. I've probably done 100 hours here in the last year, and it has brought new life to me, because when I left my company, I spent a year back and forth between Denver and Southern California, and I I don't want to say I got bored, but I needed more meaning in my life. And coaching has brought me great meaning, because dating back to what my mother taught me, helping others, as I had mentors at Xerox, a senior vice president who was Hispanic, and had a number of mentors that helped me in my career. And my goal is to give back to those and help others. One note, now I'm going to pat myself on the back just for 1 second. All of the money I earned in coaching during my certification, I donated to an organization called Corazón de Vida, which is a nonprofit that houses, feeds, and educates orphans in Baja, Mexico. And that is near and dear to my heart because of my mother. So I'm currently on 2 areas of coaching: young leaders who aspire to be ascended in their company or another company and be the best version of themselves. And I also work with people in transition. It's amazing how many people I meet in their late 30s who've chosen a path and they no longer see their future as they used to. And I help them work through that and work with them to achieve their life goals and their business goals. Have I seen coaching impact individuals? I have coached clients who were not happy in their careers and saw their unhappiness seep into their personal life, and I've seen it affect their health. And my goal as a coach is to emphasize balance in life. And it is so important to not, because I'm a recovering workaholic. I used to work like a crazy man. I traveled all the time, all over the United States and Europe. And now this provides me a means of helping others. And I'm really, really enthusiastic about the work. So I have helped.
So let me pause you right here, Armando, because you
Yes.
shared a lot of great nuggets, and I want to make sure that, and Alicia and all of those who are commenting, joining us today, welcome. Thank you for engaging with us and just joining us in this conversation with Armando, and specifically on his career trajectory and coaching. Armando, you shared a little bit about your cultural background. I did want to share. I also have some roots, my father's side of the family from Zacatecas there, and they're currently living, we have a family living in Arizona and Phoenix. And so a lot of connections there. But also, I think it was very neat to hear in terms of your willingness as your career evolved and your trajectory. You spent some time out of the country, right? And you were able to take projects and were open to do that. And I think sometimes that's not for all of us, right? But if you have the opportunity and you to do that, it also impacts in a positive way your career trajectory. And also, I think your mindset, right? As you get to work. And you said you were in Munich, Germany, right?
Yes.
That's amazing. And then the third thing I did want to emphasize that you mentioned was the folks that you're coaching wanting to find meaning in their work, and how you found meaning in coaching, so much so that you gave back to this nonprofit organization that is doing great work in the community. And so for those of us tuning in, I think more than ever, especially for the last 18 months, what we've experienced, people are looking for that, right? Looking for that meaning and that purpose. And since we have you and you've been coaching others regarding that topic, what advice do you have for those tuning in terms of how do they find that and ensure that they're aligning their skill set with their purpose?
Right. One of the things we try not to do as coaches is tell people. We like to ask questions. So I would just ask a few questions of the audience. Are you currently working on being the best version of yourself? You mentioned it earlier, and it caught my eye. Do you have a career and life goals clearly identified? Are they in writing? I'm real big on writing down my goals every year, reviewing and putting in a visible place. Do you know your strengths and areas where you need to get better? Do you have someone mentoring you now, helping you in your career? Those are the questions I would ask, because I have had people tell me that I helped them identify blind spots they didn't see in my coaching with clients I have. and it has opened their eyes to try to be their best version of themselves. So, but coaching can be a great way to set your path to be the best version of yourself. And I would highly encourage you to look at this coaching program, because it'll do wonders for you, not only in business, but in your personal life. And I'm real big on business, personal, and taking care of myself physically with exercise and making myself a more well-rounded person.
Armando, those are great nuggets. Do you mind, since we have time, and those of you tuning in, we'll have time for a few questions at the end. Feel free to start sharing them or any comments or thoughts. And the coaching program that Armando's referencing, we will share the link. It is also on the HACE website. We're working with various coaches, Armando being one of them, to help you through a series of coaching sessions to think through whether it's your career transition, whether it's getting you to that next level in your current role, and really thinking through that. And to Armando's point, you said something critical, right? It's the coach's job to ask good questions, right? So the first question that you mentioned, can you repeat that one? The first question that you ask a coachee?
Yes.
Yeah.
How about it? Are you currently working on being the best version of yourself?
Are you currently working on being the best version of yourself? So can you give some examples in terms of, and that means something different, I'm sure, to every person, right? Like for me, you talked about physical fitness. Like I love running, making sure I'm working out, taking care of health and also what I eat. And for me, that helps me become the best version of myself. What other examples would you share or encourage folks to think about when it comes to that?
So I believe that if you have a happy home, a happy business life, and you take care of yourself, you're going to be the best version of yourself. Many, many times, and I know I was guilty of it, instead of focusing on improving myself, I was looking at another person and go, I have to outrun them. I have to work harder than them. And if I can give one bit of advice, taking off my coaching hat and putting on my mentor hat, is don't focus on anyone else but yourself. And I can say that time and time again, because I know I've been guilty of trying to compete with somebody instead of focusing on myself and making myself the best version of myself. Seeking input, going to my mentors. What can I do? What more can I do? How can I get better? And build on my strengths and get better at my I call them areas of opportunity, weaknesses, whatever you want to call them, but focusing on myself as opposed to competing against somebody else.
Then that's so critical, especially for, and I'm generalizing, right? Traditionally, the Latino community, we are hard workers, we're givers, right? And we want to provide for our families, and we have a tendency of putting everyone else in front of us, right? And making sure that they're being taken care of. But it's also the airplane analogy, right? You have to first make sure that you're taking care of yourself, putting the mask on before you can help others, right? And so I think that's super critical. Thank you for that example. Those of you tuning in, you see the link on the bottom of the screen for the coaching program that Armando is one of our coaches for. The deadline for this is September 6th. And so you'll see more information on that link along with who the other coaches are. So I want to get to the second question that you mentioned, that you asked about goal setting, right? Ensuring that we're writing everything down. And I am such a big believer in that and reflecting on that often, especially on an annual basis, to say, where have I come? How am I meeting this 1-year goal, this 5-year goal, and breaking them down to daily habits, right? What recommendations or what have you seen do you have for folks to think through their goal setting and making sure that they're accomplishing them?
So I'm working, I'll bring up one client. He was in the financial services business, and he had some personal issues and had to take a leave of absence. And he made a career change at 38, which is to leave that business and go to law school. And one of the things I helped him with, because it can be an overwhelming thing, he's got 2 children, his wife's a doctor, he's got a busy life, and to focus, he was unorganized. And I helped him. Now every week on a Friday, he reviews his week, he plans out his next week, and he puts things in writing. What do I need to accomplish week by week as he goes through his journey of law school? Because he has a demanding life with 2 children, a 5-year-old and 2-year-old. And I felt I was ready to end the coaching engagement with him. It's been 6 months. We meet every 2 weeks is generally. And he goes, no, I need to keep working with you. But he has completely turned his organizational skills around, and he is right on path to his goal of graduating from law school in 2.5 years now. So
that's amazing. That's a perfect example, because I think, I mean, given what you shared about this individual's background, successful, right, in terms of career and family, what he's accomplished. But I sense the awareness that he's like, I need that accountability partner, you being that person, right, that coach, to be able to check in, because if we can really hone in on understanding what our strengths are, but where are the areas of opportunity, as you mentioned earlier, or that I could use additional support. And so if it's those 2-week check-ins with the coach, I think that's amazing. And that's how we're able to accomplish, is when we're able to have that awareness and hold ourselves accountable by leveraging those types of tools and resources such as coaches. I see a question by Erica. What would you say was the pivotal moment in your life that spiraled your pursuit in focusing on yourself? That's a great question.
Wow, that's a deep question. You know, when I first went to work at Xerox, I went to Cal State Dominguez Hills. Most people have never heard of it. I was working with all these people that have gone to Berkeley, Stanford, UCLA, and I was a little intimidated. And that was a pivotal moment in my life that said, you know what? It doesn't matter where you went to school. The point was, I started and I completed my goal of graduating with a business degree. And I was going to, this is my competitive spirit, I was going to outwork everybody. I was going to learn as much as I can. I was going to reach out to people that were in the next job I wanted and ask them for advice on how they got to where they were. And I was going to take those good things, integrate them into my life's work style, and I was going to succeed. So I started off literally knocking on doors, door to door. And I would sometimes on a Friday ask myself, wow, what am I doing here? And I ended up running a $300 million business for Xerox. So a pivotal moment was believing in myself that I could achieve.
That's powerful. I think it's sometimes easier said than done. And so it takes that reflection. And I know we've talked about journaling at some point in these cafecitos. And so there's a lot of tools out there that can support. Hi, Cesar. He's asking, what kind of advice do you have for someone who is starting fresh in their career? So maybe at an entry level and getting started.
You know, if I can say something really quick, there's 10 things that require zero talent. And being the best version, being on time, work ethic, effort. When you first came on, I saw your enthusiasm for what you do. Effort, body language, energy, attitude, passion. I saw the passion in your voice. I heard it when you talked about your role. Being coachable, doing extra, being prepared. And I can send that out and send an email to people, but that is what it requires no talent to do those things. Just being the best you can be, wanting to learn. And by the way, Cesar, find a mentor in your company, the person that's in a significant leadership role. Spend time with them. How did they get there? Ask a lot of questions. Be curious. In coaching, they like coaches to be curious and to get people talking about themselves and how they're feeling. So I would ask you, Cesar, to go ask those questions about people and how they got to where they were. I hope that helps a little bit.
Great question.
You're an excellent candidate for this coaching program.
Yeah, speaking of which, so for those that are considering the coaching program or any coaching, right? It doesn't have to be through HACE. There's several resources. Of course, we would want to have our HACE Familia part of this. And here we have Sonia, who you know, Armando, who is our lead program consultant for this program. She has the information on the screen as well. So September 6th is the deadline. So Armando, advice for those that are considering applying for this program.
Jump in with both feet. It will do you so much good to be part of this program. It'll make you a better person, both in business and in your personal life. I encourage you to sign up.
So there you have it, everyone. And one last, so jump in. And what are you most hopeful for the remainder of this year, Armando?
Well, you know, we've been through a tumultuous time with, I don't talk about politics a lot, but over the last 4 years and through a pandemic. And when I see, I'm a big sports fan, so I watch the Olympics. And I remember watching two individuals from two different countries having a face-off in the high jump. And they could have kept going, but they looked at each other and they said, we're going to share the gold medal. And they hugged each other. And that gives me hope that there's good in the world. And I believe I always look for the good in the world. I always look for the people that are helping when there's a crisis. There are good people in the world. And my goal is to continue to be one of them.
Armando, we are so proud to have you part of the HACE familia. Thank you so much for taking time to join us in Cafecito con HACE today. We look forward to continue to engage with you. Those of you tuning in, thank you for joining us today. Hasta la próxima. Until next time, take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.